you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere you say, anywhere.
Hey, good morning, guys. Morning, chat. We're watching gold here. There's a really big range on price to correct. What was that? That's actually the move from New York session. Push down, retraced. Yeah, the news kind of came out. It was quite interesting. I haven't seen the numbers, but news came out on gold and price moved up here during the New York session. It's actually a pretty massive distribution. Looks like price really rejected these highs and eventually did end up selling off. So got a bit of like a little accumulation here. Then that's beautiful distribution. Actually looks quite textbook. As like pre-London, started coming in from pre-NY. Broke with volume, NY session. News came out here. This was a CPI data. And price shot up. So I think you'd be, you know, a lot of people must have been right because if you got in on the buy, the initial buy when news came out, it popped up about like 68 pips. But if you say sell, the overall move was a sell, but the first push was upwards. Interesting. So yeah, after that news came out, loads of volume during the New York session. Price just completely tanked over here. And now this is the range that we're currently like trying to correct. Price started to move above this area. So you can see a little bit of a sideways movement here. We got resistance by 33.50. Little break and retest situation. You caught a nice sell last night on gold. Late NY session. Hey Noni, good morning. Yeah, so this is what I reckon it's trying to do. It's trying to like pull up back here. There's a reason for my buys this morning as well. Like price was trending up bullish. So felt really confident about the buy. Felt really confident about the buy. No. See what's going on here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful range. Beautiful range. Market's like a little bit choppy though at the moment. Man, this is awesome. This is so far pretty good. So far pretty good on my day. But right now the market is starting to range a bit more. Just got the London session open up here. Got tons of support areas to the downside. Tons of support areas to the downside. So this is actually, you know, this could create some speed bumps here. We got 33, 37. Got some other levels over here too. All right, I got an SMA. Nice little SMA over here. Close below that 8 SMA on the 15. But, you know, we're going to draw some zones here. Got resistance. Got support. It's Auli. Yeah, this is just range. This is just range. This is like the same price action from yesterday pretty much. If you all remember how the HDF looked, like it was kind of not enough volume, not enough directional bias. It's kind of similar thing right here. You can just notice by the wicks. Got some pretty long wicks. See, maybe there was an accumulation breakout that happened here. Got a little bit of a head and shoulders in there too. Actually, stop loss is quite distant. I mean, stop loss is quite nice. It's got like 13.5 pips right here. Yeah, pretty decent stops here. I like it. I can see the volume is dying because like for this much structure to have 13.5 pips, that's low volume on gold for sure. 13. This is a lot of structure. Usually this kind of structure here would have like a 20 pips or something of the sort. But this is the head and shoulders I'm looking at right here. Boom, boom, boom. Volume coming in. Nice little SMA crossover there too. But really choppy. I mean, eventually move down, fill this range on the left-hand side. Kind of chopped up a lot doing it though. Little manipulation fake out here. Consolidated, broke below support. Distributed to the upside. I guess it's just gotta open up from this zone. It's kind of what we're waiting on see on price here. What's that? No daily bottom wick today. We got like a, what's that? The 50 SMA right underneath that candlestick there. Hey, good morning, Jonathan. Yeah, it's still interesting. No bottom wick. Actually, Monday, Tuesday, market's been moving down. So we've really pushed off resistance by 33.70 over there. Still been rejecting that. You see, chat? That's what I meant. Like, this is going to be a really hard level. For, okay, nice. So price looks like it's actually coming down there on the 5-minute. But this is pretty strong level here for price to break. 33.70. So just like anticipated now, you know, price is... If we're going to break, we're going to break with volume. We need something to push this. Today we got unemployment claims. So we're going to look at the fundamentals. Let's see. Core PPI. Expecting here good numbers. Expecting good numbers. But you know, anything can happen here. Core PPI. We also expected good numbers yesterday, but let's see what we got. We ended up getting bad numbers. Down negative 0.2%. Forecast 0.3. So it's an increase. It's still an increase from the previous, but it's less than forecast. They're expecting good numbers for the PPI here. So we're going to see. Like so far, Goldie's been moving down. So probably he's going to continue that trend. I noticed that pre-sessions have been moving up. And then later on, it's been moving down. It's like pre-sessions are like pricing in sells for later on. So it's the 16th. Yeah, we got core PPI today. Oh, today's core PPI. Wait, I need to change. Today's the 16th, right? Oh, I need to change the stream. Stream name. Yeah, today's core PPI, not unemployment claims. All right, nice. Yeah, so we still got to deal with that a daily over there. I'm bullish today, but sell would be good at the moment. Yeah, if you're bullish today, you know, price is still up, so 0.40%. It could actually give like, you know, one of these really nice sell signals where the bottom wick on the daily can still be formed. This could just be a pull up to maybe create that bottom wick there. So that would be a nice confluence. I don't know if the sell's going to come here. The 4-hour candle is respecting that 8 SMA. Got some nice range in the 4-hour. Guess it just depends. Just depends on us breaking some key levels of structure first, because you know, like we can just draw this zone here. Got 15-minute resistance. Maybe on the 15-minute looks cleaner. Let's see the 30. Breaking below 30 hourly. Let's see 15. 5-minute is probably a little bit choppier. You refine that a bit more down towards that support. Because if we break below this support, we have 22 pips. You know, like something like 22 pips below this zone over here. So maybe that would be an area where we would first be expecting like some sells, at least with the current structure that we have now. So this is like a no trade zone. Yeah, this becomes a no trade zone. Sells below here, 22 pip range. Yeah, I ended up taking another trade yesterday, guys. So I ended up losing again. After my bomber clot, I lost another 2% yesterday. But that's okay. I made it back today. But yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. You know, I thought we could buy on gold. I saw that we had a resistance over there, but we kept pushing up that resistance. So after stream, I took a buy and it was a losing trade. Yeah, but still up for the month. So, you know, still going to be trading the pre-New York sessions as well. But man, I wish like if I didn't take that buy, there was a sell that came shortly afterwards. Don't know if anybody was able to execute on that. But there was a really nice sell. It kind of like ranged for a bit. Let's see, where is this? Pre-New York? Pre-NY? I think it was right here. It was right here. It trickled for a bit towards the downside. Nice little stop above, like, you know, 9.8 pips. And then it just bled. It just kept bleeding slowly but surely. It just kept coming down. Holy. I mean, but this is crazy though. Obviously nobody would hold that. It's like a 1 to 40 right there. But I saw like some nice little accumulation breakout that was happening right over here. Dun dun dun. Broke. Nice little SMA confluence. But I think at that point I already taken like 3 trades. 3 trades. So I don't want to take another trade. Kind of limit. I like to look at the trades. Like you're going to limit your trades. Every day you have like a limit, right? So that's like 3 trades or whatever it is. And you should like respect those rules. You shouldn't overtrade because that's when it starts to get really emotional. Man, if I take a 4th trade, that trade is going to be a really emotional trade. So right now I've taken 1 trade. I got 2 more bullets for the day. What's your maximum level of trades, guys? Write in the chat. How many trades do y'all take in a day? Maximum. But yeah, right now we're just ranging. Range nation here. You got 3 trades, 2 trades. I think that's a nice median. 1 or 2. I do 3 when I'm trying to be more aggressive. Like on months like this, that's when I do 3. But usually like 1 or 2 for me. But you see this month, man, I've already taken 31 trades. And we're just in the 3rd week over here. We're like in the 3rd week of the month. I've already taken my dosage of trades on average that maybe I would take in a whole month. And we still got plenty of time over here. You know, got like 2 more weeks. Got 2 more weeks. So yeah, I think like if you're going to be over trading, then 3 trades maximum. I say what? More people I'm working on 4. 8. 75. I got trail riding days with just a steady 1. 2 losses, but if I'm winning all trades, I just keep downsizing lots. Nice. 4 on a bad day. Oh, what's that? Like revenge trading? 1 to 2 on a good day. 4 on a bad day. Yeah, I think like on a bad day, 2 for me. If I'm going to have a bad day, I'm going to stick to like 2 trades. I'm not going to get more than 2 trades. I can overtrade so much depending on how days is going. If I'm really up, I can go 20 or more. Today 4 now. And it's not even like I wouldn't want to trade more. It's also like where your energy goes, you know, you're going to take more trades. You're going to spend a lot more energy. Oh, nice. Nice entry over here. These weak entries always look so fun. You just get 0 drawdown here. Yeah, no, it still counts. It still counts. It doesn't matter how, yeah, it doesn't matter how fast these guys, how fast your trades are. Then this even still counts here because this is still risk. You know, this could have easily just gone against the position. And you know, markets, the thing about the market, it doesn't know the difference between a first trade or a 100th trade. It all comes down to the risk, right? So per trade, if it's like 1%, you take a losing trade, that's negative 1%. You know, take a winning trade, maybe that's like 2% or 1%. Market doesn't discriminate. That's why, you know, if you take a break and you come back thinking that the market owes you wins because you took a break, you know, sometimes it's kind of like, yeah, I think that kind of messes you up a bit there psychologically. Because I know it happens. Sometimes you're going to take a few losses and you're going to feel like, man, the market owes me a win. But that win, market doesn't know. It doesn't discriminate. So it's also a reasoning why people would take more trades. That's why some people say if you see your setup, you just take your setup. That is true. Any setup can have man, there's some days where my setups just have back-to-back wins. But I know in the long run that that's going to be risky because the market's not that giving. Somehow, you know, I'm up for the month so far. And I think I'm really up for the month here, 22%, because I'm taking like maybe on average 3 trades a day this month. But looking at the price action in general, I feel like the market has been kind of like trying to shake people off quite a lot. Like before big moves, for example. You know, it tries to shake a lot of people out of these moves. Like for example, right? I took, let's say, this is where I took my buy this morning. My stop was like somewhere around here, I guess. And the price moved up, right? It moved up right at my TP2 I secured, and then price started to come down. Because I know there's like a certain limit, usually, that the market can give me, but then past that, if you get too greedy, then it goes against you. Because look at this, you know, you can look at this and say, oh, you know, tight stop loss, but this is like, let's say it's a 1.2 RR, but if you put your stops here, okay, correct, and you move this up here, that's just a 1.5 RR. You know, the difference is super negligible to survive such a wick like this. Just to put it in perspective, if you're trying to catch bigger moves, there's a way the market can balance it out, that even with a wider stop loss, it's quite a negligible difference. Unless you're getting sniper entries like this, then, you know, pretty good for you. But anyway, you know, price is ranging here. And there's nothing to look at. 1 trade a day over a 2-hour session, win or loss. 2 lot with 25 pips. What was the question? My answer is 10. Yeah, it's like, how many trades you take in a day? I think the average trader would look at 5. That's what I think. Because most people are not able to take less trades. It's much harder to take less trades. So I'd say on average, that mentality is between maybe like 3 to 5. Because also you can't take too many trades. You know, if you really want to learn how to trade, you're not going to be taking like a crazy amount of trades. You're going to be more cautious. Because the money that you have, man, it's about protecting the capital. That's what it is. So you can learn as much as possible. So I think most serious traders, like, are going to stick around maybe 3 to 5 on average, generally speaking. Hey, Vishu. About losing less, not making more? Yes. Bring the zone like here. Yeah, it's quite interesting, chat. Like, I've been noticing this. Like, of late, this volume, most of the volume is coming in throughout Asia pre-London. London ranges, this month, London ranges, and then volume comes back in during the pre-New York time. It's like clockwork. It's been very consistent like this. You can see we're back inside the range again after Asia pre-London pushes. Now volume probably gonna kick back in pre-New York as we're getting close to a core PPI over there. Interesting. I feel like June and July have had some very interesting characteristics. Man, June was just a crappy month. July, kind of repetitive. Very repetitive. This is Asia pre-London, London range, and then pre-New York moves. New York session volume. So I would say maybe the New York session has been quite nice actually for July so far. That's why I'm starting to pick up here. But you can see like we got a resistance. Got resistance, support level. So not much you're going to do here. Unless maybe you're basing a trade off of like a higher time frame. You know, maybe like 30 minute looks clean over here. Nice little pushy on the 30. 50-minute ranging. Still sells below that support there. Still somewhat clean to that 50-minute support. Got some SMAs in the way. And look at this candlesticks, no top wicks. Daily, no bottom wick. See what the weekly is doing. Damn, this looks like a head and shoulders. If price was to just come down, then that would be left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Then that would be the push downwards. Right over there. So weekly overall barcoding. Barcoding as we're waiting for fundamentals to come through. Time for silver to step out of gold's shadow. Ooh, people have been talking about silver here. Silver has been underperforming gold for about 15 years, but technological advances could give it a much needed boost. Let's see, gold edges higher around 33.30 per ounce on Wednesday. Following a 2-day decline. Yeah, so far bearish. As investors assess a pickup in US inflation and ongoing trade developments. June CPI rose at the fastest pace in 5 months, suggesting tariffs may be starting to have an impact on inflationary pressures. Markets now await PPI report for further insight. See, trade concerns lingered after Trump announced 19% tariff on Indonesian goods and said additional tariffs notices would be sent to smaller countries. Alongside the 30% tariffs on Mexico and the EU starting August 1st. Just gotta stick with the direction. If gold is moving down, then yeah, it looks like the sells are in order over here, you know. I'm looking at these little pushes as well. You can just see the flow of the price action. Look at what the session's been doing, especially during the New York dumps over here now. NY session volume coming in, pre-session pricing in, then NY session corrections. Yeah, move is overall kind of rolling over. If you just take the general PA, it is mostly rolling over. This could be another pricing in, just like we have pricing in here and pricing in here. And I'm gonna see the rollover soon. But I definitely got to move from this no trade zone. Stock between 33.42, 33.36. Head and shoulders on the 5. Yeah, that's actually a good catch. Could have a potential one here. Volume starts to kick in. Which strategy gives over 5 setups? Man, if you have more plays in your book, then obviously you can get a lot more setups. But if you're looking at one strategy, I would say, man, what strategy would give the most setups? Probably something on the LTF, like 1 minute. There's always like some kind of 1 minute. I would say 1 minute. 1 minute, probably. But even then, you know, sometimes it takes long for the, because like even the higher time frames still have to move. So on the 1 minute, you're still going to have loads of structure like this because it still takes time also for the higher time frames to move. So it's actually a kind of good question. Because what are you trying to catch? You know, is the question. Are you trying to catch like a genuine move that can be seen on the higher time frames, or are you just trying to catch a small little scalp? You know, a small little scalp you can catch within like literally anywhere. I feel like those types of strategies are going to be like a lot more dangerous to be trading, you know? So even though I take moves on the 1 minute time frame, that structure still builds as if it's building on a HDF because the move is big. So I guess the sweet spot would be for every hourly candlestick, maybe 1 or 2 moves. You know, because the hourly candlesticks, every hourly candlestick has some kind of like a push inside of it. You know, it has some kind of like a push inside of it. So maybe you can get like 1 or 2 moves. These previous hourly candlesticks have been pushing up. This was like 40 pips. This was like 43. This one is still open, but it's done about 32. Yeah, this is clean. This is very clean. A little correction here from yesterday's NY session. Massive candlestick. Look at this. Look at this chode of a 1 hour candle here. It's like 252 pips. Look at this. And that would have been that 1 to 40 if you got in on the consolidation break, which was here. Tight stop loss towards those lows. It's crazy because the market sometimes, you know what it does? It has this little trick sometimes where it triggers you in. It does one last false move before the actual move. That's something I've also been realizing, low-key kind of happening a bit. It does like one false move before the actual move. It's been liking to do that quite a bit. I took 80 pips from that candle. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was a massive candle. Imagine people are gonna panic sell this. Because people see a candle move down and then they just want to get in, you know. Had smaller retracement. But even with this retracement, it still respected structure. It didn't break above these highs. Came really close, but it didn't break those highs. A little bit of a head and shoulders here. Then start rolling down again. It just kind of like fizzled out. After this big dump from yesterday, kind of like fizzled out. This London close over here. London close. Price just ranged and then started breaking out of this range. Get that little bit of a correction here. But you see the way it's correcting, it's also not correcting the cleanest, right? It's not like it's not necessarily the cleanest sweep up. It's still a kind of chopping like this a bit. That will definitely shake some people out. Maybe mismanage the trade a bit as well. You know, Silva, I never understand why people not to trade it more or even price as higher since it use for solar, what is it, solar panels and stuff like that connected to energy. Ah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. It's like it's a more of a affordable conductor. So you reckon the demand should be a lot higher? I mean, like some people trade silver. What is it trading at right now? $37? Look at that daily. It's quite choppy though, right? Lower time frames. But where are we currently sitting at? All-time highs? Yeah, silver is doing pretty well this year. It's pushing up all-time highs by $40. Silver is gaining on gold. A little bit of accumulation breaky over here. Break about 37.1. Shot upwards. No, silver has been performing nice. Check out the fundamentals. Silver gains as dollar and treasury yields ease. So it climbs to $38 per ounce Wednesday, rebounding after 2 declining. On Tuesday, silver had some come under pressure after US consumer inflation data led to traders to scale back expectations. Gold prices rebound. Yeah, anyway. It's pretty much the same thing. You know, the fundamentals always kind of repeating themselves every month. Same old, same old. But looks like silver has some clean range here to correct. Kind of similar to what Goldie is doing. If you look at this, if you notice that really big dump here from 38, boom, that's correcting this move of the hourly. So if you're trading silver, I think daily is up right now 0.50%, or what's that, 60%. So you know, right now it's definitely more bullish. Correct some of that New York session dump. Yeah, so that's if you're trading silver. That would be my bias. It's nice to trade with the direction of the market, because even like when you're taking drawdown, you still feel good about the trade. You know, you still feel like, man, even if I get this drawdown, that I can survive this. You know, I have a higher probability of surviving just because the daily is moving up. Price is moving in your direction overall. So I was a similar thing with my trade this morning. I was like, you know what? It's struggling a little bit, but we're with the daily trend. Daily trend looks good. Hey Vic, I'm an ETH trade from 2450. Where do you think the TP should be placed? I think you gotta send in a chart to Discord. Oh, nice. So we got space here doing the work behind the scenes. I see the board got wiped off. What are we looking at here? Wednesday, July 16th. Yeah, that's today. We got PPI industrial production. This is nice to see, man. Nice to see you putting in that work. Big bank earnings. Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America. Earnings, let's see. Earnings beats interest income. Softer credit costs would add upside. Tactical tips. Bank stocks likely to be volatile. Prepare for earning-driven swings. Well, what's a space trade again? I don't think I've seen his trades in a minute. Gross asset momentum and correlation boost. Retail versus industrial flow. You know, I used to do this. Man, I used to do this for the mentorship, but nobody reads this stuff. Nobody reads this stuff. You know, you can do so much analysis, but I think like the thing is like doing it every day can be almost tiresome, you know, because like what it is like people are day trading, correct? They're looking to catch moves on the day. But these fundamentals, like they can sometimes take a bit longer to play out. So it's good to like have this at the back of the head, and then you kind of understand when markets move, you're more in line with the story that's unfolding behind the scenes, the underlying factors. But on a day-to-day basis, going in deep, take some commitment for sure. If you're a day trader and take it like 2 to 3 trades a day. Because, you know, most likely you are going to be counter trending anyway. You're going to be having sell opportunities, buy opportunities. And also like the higher time frames, guess sometimes it take a while to get set up before the actual moves come into place. So if you marry a bias, it can be kind of like, yeah, it's not going to be good if you marry a bias based off of all that data when you're scalping. The idea is to correct the NY move yesterday. Just close right here. Oh yeah, the NY move. Awesome trade. Yeah, that was a good idea here. Man, you got in early as well. What time is this? This was 25 minutes past midnight Eastern time. I'd read the shit out of your analysis like that, but I can't understand it can be tiresome. Yeah, it can be tiresome. That's true. Like, it can, because you have to think about it like in terms of a long-term perspective. You know, whenever you make plans, even in your personal lives, you gotta see if it's sustainable. It always has to also be sustainable. Because you can do something for like maybe a couple months, 3 months, you know, but then you have to think like, can I actually consistently do this? Can I actually consistently provide this type of effort? Because you know the last thing you want to do is crash. You don't want to burn out. Burning out is like inevitable. Like people can work so hard for such a while and then the burnout is inevitable. But you need momentum, you know, you need momentum, a steady flow of momentum. Because the problem with like working too hard too quick is the burnouts, like they can really set you back, you know, for quite some time, and it's a bit more volatile. I'd read, let's see. Sui. Yeah, but this is a time that usually I'm on the charts, but I've switched out my time a bit as well. Because I noticed like waking up like super early was kind of almost burning me out a bit. I needed to take more power naps throughout the day. So I decided, let me just chill for an additional 1 hour, 20 minutes. Give myself 1 hour, 20 minutes more. Because you must listen. You must listen to your gut feeling, you know? Get really good at that intuitiveness of listening to your gut feeling. Of, you know, if your body's tired, if your mind's getting tired, it might mean there's something, or it means there's something you need to adjust. You adjust those things because it's going to catch up to you. So it's just the same way as my trades, you know? Like my life reflects my trading. Just the same way when I notice like, man, I'm starting to get L's, like somewhere, I'm like, okay, so how can I stop the bleeding? You know, when I start to notice streaks or like some speed bumps, I start looking at that immediately and say something is not right over here. You know, something needs to change. And from time to time, we do those changes, you know. If it's a setup change or quantity change, maybe trade quality change, something like that. Something needs to change. So I think that's why it's always good to think of trading like life, you know, as well. Or think of life like trading. So yeah, I think that was pretty good. So far, I've been getting really nice moves though. So even though I've been missing the initial move, technically I've been missing like the more of like an earlier entry. It's still okay, you know. I kind of catch the next one, but it's not obviously going to be as nice as if I just woke up early. But you know, life isn't all about money. You know, it's not all about money. You have to find a balance. If I want to make more money, then I'll just push myself to get up here and then keep doing this. But you've seen people who just do it for money, right? Like they don't typically have very sustainable lives, correct? So I don't think that's what you want. Even if the money is good, find a way to make it consistently with as less effort as possible so you can be in here for the long run. So that's what I do. You know, keep the trading simple because we're in this for the long run, right? Words of wisdom. The amateur does something until they get it right. A professional practices it even when they can't get it wrong. A professional practices it even when they can't get it wrong. Yes, yeah, exactly. The amateur does something until they get it right. A professional practices it even when they can't get it wrong. Words of wisdom by Joshua, the leader, the lemming hoarder. The lemming hoarder Woods. Weighing in at 70 kilograms, we got the lemming hoarder Woods. Yeah, that's pretty good. How'd you know I'm 70 kg? I bet you're more like I would say you're more closer to probably like 80. I think most people are between 70 to 80 on average. I think I'm coming in just under 80. I think just do what you enjoy and go hard at it. If it's trading or ballerina, it'll work out. Yes, sir. Just go hard at it. You saw that scene? Man, that scene was so messed up in Ballerina, where she was doing the dance and she was like bleeding on the floor. It's like commitment. Get your toes bleeding. It was a good movie. Yeah, I mean, some people just have that drive. Some people just have that drive. You know, you can't teach that drive. It's just like, and there's no secret to it, you know, it's just consistency. It's just showing up every day with a stoic mindset and repeating something, even when it's not like your best day, and you just keep showing up and you keep repeating it. Even on your worst days, you know, you have really good days, bad days. But I think the difference between really, really successful people is the consistency. Also strategy. You got to have some kind of strategy as well. I think the strategy makes it easy. It makes it easier to do. Getting that 1% better and then stacking on top of that 1% daily. Because why wouldn't you want it to be easy for yourself? You know, that's what I always ask myself. Like whenever I'm doing something, I'm like, why wouldn't I want this to be easy for myself? Like why would you want to work hard? I think over time you start building more capacity to have it more almost even passive. Whatever it is that you're doing. But it takes time. You know, you can't cheat time. That's one thing that I've realized. Like things that definitely do take time. As bad and as fast as you want it to be. I send the MT5 on the analysis, but I have not explained the trade. Oh, nice. Look at this. This looks... What is this? MT5? How'd you get a dark theme on MT5? What broker is this? XNES. How'd you do the dark theme? Is it like a new thing? Did MetaTrader get an update? From settings. Never knew you could do this. Yeah, 6. So what did you do here? You took a buy on Ethereum USD. Time frame. This is on the... What are you looking at here? This is a daily? You've been holding swings on the daily? You got profit levels all the way up here. Mad patience. This is like... if you trade like this... Yeah, I guess like this is... You take very less trades. I mean, if this is a daily candlesticks expecting to come all the way up here, maybe you're going to scale in again as it moves up. Not sure what you're doing here. But it requires lots of patience. But I see you're floating in some nice blues right now. Prices starting like distribute from your zone. There's a little bit of accumulation there I can see on the daily. Small little accumulation here. So price is now in that distribution phase. It's in the payout phase. So definitely if you're trading like this, you want to be with the overall trend. So if Ethereum's moving up, you want to be with the overall trend. Look at the date. That's 15th July right here. But I guess that's your whole account history, huh? Like within this general region. Oh, we got the dates down here. Damn, you've been holding since May? May 14th. You got some positions from May 14th. Sheesh. I mean, to make this worth my while, I gotta risk a lot. A good percentage of the account. have that mature. That's nice, cat. You scalp gold and swing ETH. Good stuff, good stuff. Crypto moves with supply and demand. Yeah, everything moves with supply and demand. Every business moves with supply and demand. Doesn't matter if you want to be a drug dealer or selling toothpaste. You know, everything moves with supply and demand. So I think that's the whole idea here. You know, like whenever you look at markets, it's so much better to look from a supply and demand perspective. You know, drug dealers could be the best traders as well. Just as long as they understand supply and demand. And they're just like, say, okay, you know, I'm coming from this industry. This is, you know, the concept is the same. You know, it's the same concept, different market. So now let me start looking at stuff like oil, start looking at what affects oil, what currencies move based off oil, what affects gold and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a bit of passion in there and just wanting to really understand. It doesn't matter what you really do. That's why I said like life, it can reflect your trading quite a lot. So you would not need an economics degree necessarily to become a trader. You just have to understand the basic concepts. You sounded like 50 Cent right now. Yeah, I've been 50. I'm sure the man definitely understands. Supply and demand. Sell me this pen. That scene from Wolf of Wall Street. You want me to sell you this pen? Why don't you write your name down on that piece of paper for me? I don't have a pen. Well, there you go. Boom. Supply and demand. Such an awesome scene. Yeah, but this right here, this is accumulation. Accumulating. We don't have, I don't think we got any supply over here. We just created a new resistance. So it's just accumulating. This is like a 50-50 zone. So no direction. No trade zone. No trade zone. Yeah, I wrote a bloody long caption this morning. So if you go on my channel, I'm usually posting my trades there. Like if you want a little bit more, there's like this post section that I'm quite active on there. Like literally every day, pretty much every day. So I'm showing you guys my trades, leaving some words of wisdom in here. Definitely check it out. This. Follow me on Twitter as well. Price just ping-ponging here between 33.36 and 33.41. Probabilities should start shifting a bit once we start breaking below that support. Maybe above this resistance as well. Kind of like a liquidity grab situation that happened here. Little fakey taking out the support. Distributed, accumulated, head and shoulders, breakout, 13 pip stop loss, above structure on the break, consolidate our entries for a bit, push down, profit taking, bottom of the range. Now it's tapped the bottom of the range, it's moving up again. Oh, Vega, I appreciate the work you do for us. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that humbling comment. Oh, I feel bad when I don't do work. You know, that's the thing. Like if I go a day and then I also don't do something, I feel like it's just a waste of a day. You know, it's just a waste of a day. It actually, who says this? I think it's Steve Jobs, that stress comes from not doing things. It doesn't come from having like an overwhelming thing of things, but it comes from not getting things done. So I actually feel more stressful when we don't do something, you know, when you're not productive with your day, because now you're always thinking about it, and it's like a negative wavelength. This is my plan for now. So seeing if I get entry TFX concepts or wait to see how price is moving. And RSI SMA to get reversal. Yeah, man, it's funny. Like my most stressful days are also the days that I feel like I haven't done enough. But you know, people build differently. I think that's the thing. People build differently. But the more you're like this, it's like you're increasing your capacity every single time, every single day. You're getting better than people who just don't execute. Not executing is like a flat line. You know, you'd rather execute and fail, because for you, maybe it might seem like it's going downwards, but in actuality, with the failures, you're going upwards. You know, you just can't see it. At the moment, it feels like it's going down, but you're actually going up. Because what it is like you're prolonging the inevitable when you don't execute, right? You do nothing here. So rather fail. You're still going to be moving somewhere. Rather make a decision. What are we looking at here? Oh, OB plus FEG. 5 minute. Take the damn trade is what I'm trying to say. Some people are too afraid to execute, man. You know, like when you're afraid to execute and you miss, you're kind of missing an opportunity that you could have learned something. Win or loss. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is though. But yeah, I know we have a support 33.36. This is like something we're really rejecting here. Need to get through that level. Beautiful SMA tap right there though on the 5 minute. Oh, you already took this trade? Expecting it to come down, I suppose? Or is it to go up? Oh, I see. Dun, nice. Let's see if price can break then. Alright, if it's retesting support here. Might be gearing up for a dump soon. See that hourly? Just gonna take out these hourly lows. 33.35. Hey man, I think like it can really dump. If we're definitely going back to create that bottom wick here on the daily. Ooh, that would be nice. Previous 2 days were bearish. Off that resistance by the daily as well. Previous 2 days were bearish. This could just be the daily highs before the daily lows are being formed. Like it doesn't matter how this daily candlestick looks like right now. This thing could flip and close all the way down over here. It looks pretty bullish now, but at the end of the day, you're going to maybe see a bearish continuation down towards 3,300 psychological mark. So we got 3,300 there. It's like a pretty heavy magnet. Currently trading above it. Now the funny thing is with this trade yesterday, I kind of wanted to overtrade. I was so close to overtrading yesterday. I was about to take a 4th trade on the day to try and catch because I saw if like the buys didn't work, then probably like the sells would have been the next thing to play out. So I was looking at that move and I was watching it break and I was thinking, man, should I take this move? And I was also considering I was gonna hold it as well. I was just gonna hold like 4% or something just to make back for the previous one, like 4, maybe 3%. Sheesh, but I think it's good. It's good. At the end of the day, even if you miss the moves, as long as you still follow your rules. If that means to not overtrade. Because how many trades I take? 1, 2. Yeah, that's about like 3 trades yesterday. I started this month with a bit of overtrading though. Look at this. I started this month a bit aggro. We got 4 trades right off the bat. 1 dub, 2 losses, 1 dub. It's kind of like a similar thing that I wanted to do yesterday. Yeah, but on average so far this month, I've been doing about 3 trades. There will be a day that extra trade will be L and you will lose 300%. Worse than taking one out of your plan and get W. It will just create bad habits. That's true. There will come a day when no matter what you do, you cannot win. There's a type of market environments like that as well. Like it's impossible to win no matter what you do. Even if you take like 10 trades, lose all 10 of them. Yeah, but you know, we all get tilted sometime from time to time. Just limit that tilt, you know? Limit that tilt and do it with a bit of thought process. So if you're ever taking like 3 losses back to back, like why would you take a 4th trade? You know, that's too much. Even if you take 2 losses back to back, why would you take a 3rd trade? You know, you could push it, but damn, it's still a bit, it's too much. Especially if you haven't managed risk on those previous 2 losses. If you haven't lost less on those trades. Right now I'm up for the day, so I got some house money to play with, and I still got 2 bullets. So I think every day is gonna start differently. Some days start in a loss, gonna be more cautious. Take another trade, and if it's a losing trade, I just call it a day. If it's a winning trade, then I have some money to play with again. So I'm just mitigating the risk, or even back in profits from the first loss. Awful for you today, nothing's forming. Yeah, it's quite tricky. I would say the difficulty level today was getting harder past the initial pre-London moves. Because for me, my setups came in quite easy. Actually, I would have been on the charts very nice this morning. I would have gotten a really nice move. But I still managed to catch another move. But since that last move of mine, I think the markets have been... Let me see. It had one more push. Let's see what happened here. One more consolidation breakout. Oh, nice. Yeah, there was one more consolidation breakout after that one that I took. But yeah, as we're approaching London, it started getting a lot choppier. So not sure what time you trade, Ellie. You trade pre-London time or just waiting for the London Open? I like to give myself like at least opportunity to trade each session once. Because each session can move like slightly differently. So it's kind of like you're spreading the risk throughout your day as well. So if you got pre-London, London, and pre-New York, you kind of spreading the price action. So you got to play 3 different maps, you know? Like, think about it this way, right? You're working a 9-to-5 job. You love gaming on your console. You can only find time every now and then to actually play a video game. So you got to play like maybe 3 maps. You're going to play 3 maps, get that dosage, and then, you know, move on to the next thing at the end of the day. So it's like equivalent to that. It's equivalent to playing like 3 games. I just calculated how much I'm able to put back into my account per month and break that down into per week and per day, which gives me dynamic risk management for the day, week, and month. Nice. Then goes for 3 liquidity zones stacked above. Full move up after the trap. Listen, based on the analysis I just did, there's only 1 liquidity zone below and it's also closest. So it's likely price grabs out one first, does a fake out down. Oh yeah, we got pure peak back in the chart. In the chat. Where's your chart, pure peak? I want to see where that red zone is. Hey, what's up, Prince? What's the name of your strategy? This is a super secret TFX 80+% strategy. That's the name of the strategy. It's pretty long. But we could call it TFX concepts. No. Commissions for swings is higher. Maybe because like you pay swap fees and yeah, when you hold trades over days, then it kind of adds up, I suppose. Maybe some brokers got better offers regarding that, but the commissions should be less because since you use like a bigger stop loss, you should be using smaller lot sizes. TFX big D concepts. Hey, good morning, Triple M. New hourly coming in. Nice shout out. Yeah, we just got new hourly volume. Guess that's why this candle right here is skyrocketing up like this. You know, finally the market's waking up a bit more. Just pushed up about like 26 pips. Kind of like a distribution here as well. It's a little sideways momentum. Pretty nice stop losses here as well, like 10 pips. So this is what I am looking at to say, why would price be moving up like this? You know, whenever I see price move up like this, you always gotta kind of investigate and see, okay, you know, maybe this was a move right over here. Maybe this was a sideways movement. If this was a sideways movement, it does look like it's moving sideways. So, you know, small little accumulation there. Potential fake out below like a support region. And you say, all right, you know, that makes sense. That makes sense. Price moved up like this. Now, next time, man, like if you keep doing that over and over again, your brain naturally gravitates towards doing analysis like that, and it's much easier for you to see it, you know, because right now, because I don't trade FVGs, for example, I don't know a single FVG on this chart, or an auto block, or a unicorn, or turtle soup. No idea where that's going to be. But the moment you start learning and you start thinking actively about it, then you're going to start seeing them everywhere. You're going to draw one here, you're going to draw one inverted one here that maybe you can expect to form. And you see, your kind of thought process will change, will develop. But for me, I just kind of like very simple. You know, I have resistance, support. That's it. We had a potential head and shoulders here. I think that was the actual move from the head and shoulders. All right, price came down towards my support. Nice. I can see prices overall moving sideways. You know, I think this is the good thing about reading supply and demand. So maybe you can think about that as supply, and you can think about this as demand. It's less subjective, you know, because we can all agree price is moving sideways right now. Maybe for some people, they're going to look at this and then they're going to say that price is moving bullish. But, you know, they'll look at this and think price is moving bullish. Some people say, oh, but price is moving bearish because we got a price break. You know, got a trend line here, bounce, trend line break. Maybe that's my execution point right there. Even got a break and a retest. Maybe we should have been moving downwards. You know, like there's so many different ways that you can look at markets. That's why sometimes I can take a buy on stream. Someone says it's a sell. I can take a sell. Someone's going to say it's a buy. Because there's never just one trade. You know, at the end of the day, you're just making money or not. That's it. At the end of the month, it's not about being right. Trading is not a competition. It's about what you're doing at the end of the month, you know. Are you redepositing? Are you withdrawing? Doesn't matter from a trade to trade perspective, really. Because the next trade is always around the corner. But at least having a system that kind of keeps you a lot more objective, it can help. It can help with analysis paralysis. I think that's a big thing people deal with. You know, they overcomplicate. They start learning a lot. They start mixing it up from different people. And then they get analysis paralysis. Like, oh, this guy's a good trader. His strategy says buy, but this guy also says, you know, it says sell. Now I'm learning supply and demand. So we got demand here, but ICT says there's a fair value gap here. And, you know, that creates analysis paralysis. Never take a trade, never have confidence, and you're always second guessing yourself in a negative way. Kind of like always expecting like a loss, not in a positive way. Because you can expect a loss in a positive way. You know, that just means that you're looking at your downside or protecting your downside. And then you can take a loss in a negative way. Take a buy here, but you're going against something else that you learned, and then price starts coming to draw down. And if you take that loss, you're going to say, oh man, I should have done that instead. So we know it, chat. We know the roller coaster, psychological roller coaster of learning to trade, especially if you're in your first year. But I'll just say, just keep going through it. And yeah, it should get easier. Should get easier. You know why it will get easier? Because you're gonna give yourself more capacity, right? Because maybe your cup is just full right now, but you'll give yourself like, you'll start to reduce and you'll have more capacity to do other things. Because you got, in the beginning, you have to think a lot, correct? Like whenever you're doing stuff, you gotta think a lot in trading. But then it becomes like, feels, or rather, let's say it feels like it's less thinking. And my trades sometimes have very low thinking. You know, sometimes it's just impulsive entries that I take. I just think like, oh yeah, price is moving up. I've seen this before. Let me just take it. You know, the market loves execution. It hates hesitation. Most of the time, you're going to hesitate so long. You're going to hesitate for that perfect setup and watch all the risky ones play out. Then you get your perfect setup and then that fakes you out. That's the thing, you know? That's how the market operates. They might do a quick retest and give a long entry. Pretty sure it's heading the ones above. Emotional damage. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see over here. So you got quite a few red lines up here. 33.49. Got a few up here. Got one down over here. Still quite far away. So you'd have to wait. I'm not sure what time frame this is. It could be a 1 minute. Maybe it's not that far away, but it looks far away. Change of plan. It might go for the 3 liquidity zones above it first. They're stronger and more attractive for price. Then we could see an aggressive drop like yesterday. Oh, nice. Yesterday, you know, we had that accumulation breakout to the downside. So this is a similar thing because we got like this jobs data coming out this week that price has been, it could be waiting for pre-New York again or NY open. So you see this is yesterday's PA. Look at today's PA. It's pretty much the same thing. It's gearing up for something again. Getting that sideways movement. Building those orders inside this zone here. This is like, for me, an order block. You know, it's just a block of people buying and selling, moving sideways, accumulating. Then we should get the distribution. So you see, the thing is, if you got a volume indicator, it doesn't make sense now when you think about it from accumulation distribution. It wouldn't make sense to you because obviously if we start moving up, that's going to be the distribution. That's volume coming in above there. And if it starts moving down, that's volume coming in. But whatever this is like no volume or low volume. Just generally speaking, it's much better to read it on the candles. Just generally speaking. I'm not talking about refined ways. You know, some people have refined ways of doing it where they're going to get in on an entry and say, oh, it says something point of control here. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about generally the volume and the candlesticks if you take it as a whole. Because the markets, most of the time, you know, it's not going to be doing anything. And then every once in a while, it does like a small pop. Right? So it does like a small pop like this. Got like a bit of accumulation here, and then it did a small pop. Could have gotten on a breakout here on the 1 minute time frame. But overall structure, it's moving sideways. Still waiting on the breaky from this region. Let's see that 1 hour. Coming back up there to retest hourly highs. That's the Asia highs. See 15 minute. Does the chart really look like that? It looks like Picasso painting. This is like, what I've understood is this is not even to read the candlesticks. This is just to see where the volume might be. Yeah, it's wild. I wonder why it looks like that though. I'd also be interested to know where it's actually getting this data feeds from. Because you know, sometimes what these two things do, they just use candlesticks. At the end of the day, they're just using maybe the way some candlesticks printed back there. And, you know, just like the same way moving averages take the previous, let's say 50 candles, this could be just taking an average of something like, it's just like some kind of equation basically to show you this red line, but it might not be actual volume that you might think that it is. So yeah, you should look into this. You should really look into this, you know, try to get as much information on that as possible, especially if you're going to be relying on it, you know. Because, you know, when you start taking losses on that thing, you have to have confidence that this thing, man, it holds this value, you know, like this is the extent to which I believe in it. Because that's what you're going to need when those losses do come in. You're going to need to be able to continue to trust that indicator. It's the same way for me, you know, when I take my trades, I'm continuing to trust my process. Even when I take losing, I know this is okay. Let me just keep swimming, you know. Let me just keep swimming because I have the data. This is something that I've built, you know. I built this thing brick by brick. So I know from a very strong foundation, I must just keep swimming in this direction. So even when I do have losing streaks, I'm like, oh, you know, it's probably just this and that. You know, with a bit of experience as well, you kind of understand. But you just keep going. But you see, the problem is when you rely on something you don't understand, man, once those losses come in, you're going to seriously second guess yourself. Because strategies, man, all strategies work. I remember I used to trade Fibonacci. I would have like a week profitable Fibonacci. You know, I have probably like a consistent couple of weeks trading, for example, trend lines or something like that. It was always when the losses came in, that's when it started getting difficult. That's when I started second guessing. And usually that's the part that a lot of people struggle with. People pass funding challenges and they say, oh man, you know, January was a good month. You know, it could have just been a good month. February might have just been a good month. Then you see March comes around. April comes around. You start consolidating, you start losing. That's when you really get tested. That's when you're going to see, like, if you truly believe in the data that you have gathered. I just got 59 pips on this move. Saw icebergs being made on the book map. Nice. Sounds pretty cool. Iceberg. Got some iceberg lettuce. I like iceberg in my sandwich. You know, that iceberg lettuce. If you look at last red candle, it closed support. Next candle broke the wick down and went up. Man, this looks like a small little liquidity grab here. Oh man, look at this. Just bringing down these traders. Sheesh. How much was that pullback? This was like a 22 pips. It's got a nice little ranger here. That's like 24 pips down below that support. Pretty good. Yeah, we gotta see price start moving soon. See that hourly? Barely a bottom wick down there. Fat rejection though of 34.1. Little fakey situation down below the support. Candlestick broke below. Faked back upwards. Breaking the highs. Pulling back downwards. Still choppy. It is breaking lows and highs. Still not directional though. See what GJ is doing. GJ daily time frame. Got a bunch of rejections there, but GJ looks like it wants to move up. GJ looks like it's trying to break above. I'm wondering what these two lines here were for. Why would we draw these lines here? On the daily. Man, GJ is at a pretty strong rejection area though. And I think, yeah, daily candlestick doesn't even have a bottom wick on GJ. I think it looked like it could like reflip, create the bottom wick there if you got any sells. Sell confirmations. Coming down towards the Asia lows. They push like 20 more pips. $20 more pips to reflip that daily. Little head and shoulders here as well. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Price dip down. Flirting with the support level. Our 2 minutes for candlestick here to close. Feels like it wants to rip back down this. And also remember, it doesn't have that daily support. I mean, daily bottom wick. And that could be the right shoulder. Potentially left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Once this candlestick closes, it's going to be like a little shotgun play towards the downside. 33, 37. I think that's what I would be anticipating from the market within this range. At least it's a nicer range than yesterday's was. At least as of now, because price is moving. And it's, you know, sideways, like 70 pip range, moving sideways over here. Remember, drink more water, chat. So I've been down lately and I've been having to cop debt. Safaricom to join stream, guys from Kenya relate. Today they gave me last cop of debt because I'm down real bad, but hey man, I appreciate you joining in, Prince. Appreciate you joining in. Keep persevering, and yeah, man, you must just push on, right? That's all that you can do. I like to say, if you're in hell, just keep going. You know, why stop? Isn't that beautiful? Why stop? Man, sometimes like for some people, maybe if they're at the gym and they feel like they're dying, you know, why stop? You're already maybe halfway in. You're halfway in. Just kind of push it. Just finish it. Just finish it. Get it done. Get something for your pain. That's what I like to look at it. Get something for your pain. When you take a losing trade in the market, get something for your pain. You know, don't just let that be a losing trade. Get something for your pain. Learn a lesson from it. So at least next time you can do something differently if you can. If you could change something. If you're in hell, stop and enjoy the atmosphere, take in the sights. Get something for your pain. Get something for your pain. It's in the end, what forms is so much more beautiful, you know. Man, if you look at the history of our planet and how Earth was formed, man, Earth went through hell. It kept going through hell so many times, you know. But in the end, it shaped up quite nicely. Like, Earth was basically hit by another planet. It was raining meteorites for millions of years. Literally pounding into the Earth for millions of years. But you know what came with that hurt? Fucking lessons and resources. You know, those meteorites brought down into Earth everything that was needed to build a character. You know, it brought down water. It brought down chemicals that were the building blocks of what we see today. So whenever you get those moments, man, in the moment, it seems like, yo, why is this happening to me, you know? But there's something underneath that. There's always a lesson that you can learn from that. And actually build your character. Because that's what a lot of people need. In trading more than anything else, they need character development. I don't think you're a losing trader because of your strategy. You're a losing trader probably because of your mentality. You know, when we first come into trading, nobody expects to lose money. We all expect to win money, right? But that's a weak mentality because only weak people need to win all the time. Strong people, they can lose and keep going. And they keep going, and that's what actually makes them great. It's usually the strong people who are at the top, not the weak people. So yeah, right now we got a price accumulating here a bit. At least on the 5 minute, it looks much nicer. A little bit of like little accumulation here. It would need to properly re-break though 33.39 to come down. Got about like 20 pips. Hey Shalu, good morning. There's a large meteor in Namibia, Africa. What happened? Was it like a recent strike or something? Don't know. I haven't seen anything about that on the news. It started like dip below support. Largest intact to date. Yeah, that's sick because usually those medias, I think they come from the edges of this of our what is it called? Solar, not solar. What's that word I'm looking for, chat? So I can draw it. So basically, this it comes from the exactly the edge of the solar system, the meteorites. Those meteors, because that's when you know, before like Earth was formed, like there was a lot of rock. There was a lot of rock and destruction. So I think it's called the Kuiper Belt. It's the edge of our solar system. That's basically also what scientists try and study for understanding understanding the Big Bang and, you know, formation of our solar and the universe, of the solar system and the universe, the Kuiper Belt. So it's pretty sick because, you know, those areas we have, like, it's super far away, so it's very difficult to get pictures of such areas like that. You can't get pictures of such areas like that. Even though they're like human satellites, which are already this far out. I think that's where like Pluto is. Like planets like Pluto. It's like pretty far out. And those meteorites, sometimes they bring like some very interesting, what do you call it? Minerals? Rocks? It's like, let's see, it's like Chimoku strategy. If you can identify a trending market as excellent strategy, but you need to have the experience to see when to trade it or not. Yeah, that's true, man. You gotta really know, you know, that's the thing about trading, is understanding when to trade it and when not to trade it. It's the same thing for any strategy, really. It's like, you must understand, like, sometimes you don't want to touch it. You don't want to get too involved. And, you know, other times it's a bit more straightforward. Yeah, I guess that's true for everything. Like for me right now, I'm not touching anything because I'm going to be like a bit more cautious here in the market. I think it's good to be a little bit more cautious. But I do want to see price come down. I want to see price break these lows. You still got a bit of like an SMA dynamic support over here. We need to get through that SMA and then push down towards support. That's going to be the main thing I'm looking for. You know, especially following this rejection up over here. I think it makes sense also because like price is consolidating right now. You got a resistance, you got support, break of the lows, come downtown. That makes the most sense. Vic, do you watch these streamers who like travels? Yeah, I mean, that's in real life streaming, right? Like Speed right now is traveling. I think he was in Finland and a bunch of other countries. Sometimes I watch it. Yeah, I was in Finland, Turkey. Vic, don't miss the OG. Adios. Oh, what's up, Yost? I see you in here. Good morning, good morning. We see this meteor in Namibia. Man, look at this thing. This thing is still intact. Largest, you say this is the largest intact meteorite. Oh, this thing's huge. I'm sure it's like, it got a bit smaller. What are these rings around it? Was that the impact that it had? That's how big it was? Well, I guess it wasn't so big to create like a crazy effect. Like, you know, something like this. These massive craters, obviously. A little piece of rock came in down. Holy, that's crazy. Yeah, it's kind of weird to think how you know, the human psychology is quite interesting. We think it's so stable, right? We think like life is so stable, but if you think about the formation of the earth, like literally for millions and millions of years, the earth kept getting hit like every single day with these things. It got hit enough of these things to create the oceans that we have today. Basically, just for perspective, you know, like meteors carried like such small amounts of water. It got hit so many times to create the oceans. That's crazy. But right now it seems so like, I think the way we like to think about things is in a very linear way. You know, very linear, very safe. But reality is not safe. It's very unpredictable. Life is very unpredictable. Trades are very unpredictable. That's why no matter how good of a trader you are, you have to be cynical. You have to always think about the downside, think about your losing streaks, your worst case scenarios, no matter how good it is. You know, sometimes like I have these really nice streaks and it's easy to think you're on top of the world, but just know that the loss and the losing streaks are just around the corner. So you know what happens. This is trading psychology. What usually happens is traders have like amazing streaks, and then once it starts coming in like a few losses, they think, you know, it's nothing major, it's nothing major. But by the time they're getting maybe on the 4th or 5th trade, like you could have already done a lot of damage. Correct? Like you could have already gotten a lot of bleeding, and the bleeding comes in quite quickly. The gains feel a lot more harder, but the bleeding comes in quite quickly. So it's important not to be too overly confident, you know, because if you're thinking about in a long-term duration, right? Just for perspective, like look at this. So you're winning here, for example, and look at what's just around the corner. There's always going to be like some kind of moments of character development. So you see this? That's just literally right around the corner from this streak. And this loss is literally right around the corner from another win streak. And that win streak is right around the corner from another losing time. So I think like once you're having this experience in the market, you kind of think about the progress slightly differently than a novice trader. Most novice traders, they put so much effort in just this like time over here because they have not had the opportunity to see the full story. It's just it's a mentality thing, you know. That's why on YouTube, for example, you would rather watch a video that starts off good in the first, like, let's say, you know, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You most likely get more hooked than maybe a video that has all the value that you need, but starts off a lot slower. A lot slower, but we're too fixated on the short term. We're like, oh, this is good. Okay, perfect. Boom. Yeah, it's a good thing. I guess my videos are not geared to short-term thinking, because I got like a 30-second disclaimer before each video. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Looks like rock. The sea, beautiful but salty. Reducing SL by 50% versus closing 50% lots, which is better management. Both work pretty well. Both work pretty well. It just comes down to like the way you're managing risk at the moment. Like you see, that makes the most sense. So for me, like closing partials, I think also works pretty good. You know, you can close partials if you see prices, let's say, going against you. And it depends on your trading style as well. Maybe sometimes people like who close partials, if price starts going back in their favor, they put back in what they closed. You know, but for me of late, what I've been doing is I've been moving my stop loss. Like instead of closing partial, then I just move the stop. So if I get out completely. Because I kind of want to be invested 100% into my trades as well. I like the idea of being invested 100%, you know. I don't like necessarily watering down the trade and then re-entering. I feel like that creates, sometimes it can create emotional attachment to the trades. And you know, just because it goes back in your direction doesn't mean it's going to keep going in your direction. Sometimes it comes back for a bit and then goes back up against you again. So it can become counterproductive. So you just gotta be careful. You know, for different market environments, it works differently. That's what I'm gonna say. Like I would say from when I started trading, my strategy here, it's definitely adapted over the years. It's like definitely shifted a bit with the management and what I'm typically looking for, you know, just to accommodate what the markets are currently doing. But I'm sure like once the volume starts to really kick in again, bigger stop losses are really going to come into play, much like in the beginning of this year. Beginning of this year, I was too fixated on 16 pip stop losses, missed majority of my moves. I was too fixated on structure for my consolidation breakouts, even on the 1 minute, because stops were too big on gold. I also kept missing my moves. So, you know, I figured, let me just adjust this, add some more pips for my stop loss. And instead of putting it on structure on the 1 minute, let me just put it within the range. You know, small little adjustments to this. Because the actual gold environment is what I'm more used to is like, you know, 10, 20 pip ranges. Something like this. And maybe pretty decent stop losses on the 5 minute candlesticks. You see like this 5 minute here, this about like 14.4 pips. This to me looks more of like typical gold volume than what we have been getting since the beginning of this year, which is a lot more volume. So you see those are like minor changes. That's why you're going to find some traders, they usually complain about not being able to catch any trades. If you've ever noticed that maybe on social media somewhere, it's because they're not adapting to the ever-changing markets. See spot trends faster than new average line now on seasonality charts. Looks like TradingView hasn't given us anything. And Zoli was wrong yesterday. Zoli said that gold should go up, but it actually ended up moving down. Let's go back on the Gulag cards. What should we ask Zoli? Today we have core PPI. Will gold move up or down during the core PPI? Because I think this is going to set the tone for the rest of the day. Because the previous daily candlesticks were both bearish. And once we got the news come out, yeah, that's what it set the tone for the daily close. So let's pick the one on the right. We got Warren. The cards whisper of a dance between the tides of fortune. The shorts calls for caution against the bold moves of the night, suggesting volatility in the air. Yet the wise Warren hints that a thoughtful approach may yield profit. Expect a rise, but trade carefully through the shadows. Expect a rise. All right, Warren suggests that you're in a phase of introspection. Consider your positions. And remember, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Very nice advice over there. Yeah, I think W Zoli, let's go. So anyway, Zoli's saying core PPI should move up. We should be moving up here. And actually, we're expecting good numbers as well. So we're going to see what those numbers come out as. Because gold has been moving down. Nonetheless, go on our currency strength meter here. You can see dollar weakness though. So I guess that should be in the favor of gold moving up bullish. And gold is up right now 0.50%. But it still doesn't have that bottom wick. If we start dumping like let's say New York session times, yeah, I think gold can really dump. Create that bottom wick. Getting a bit sus there, Zoli. Yeah, I know. Like, where I wonder where he gets this information, because sometimes it's pretty good, you know, it's pretty good information. It makes sense. It's like a GPT connected to something. But there's a lot more of these AI softwares that help you kind of read fundamentals and stuff nowadays too. But I don't think you really need all of that stuff, because what you want to do is you want to remove as much speculation as possible. If you get way too into the fundamentals and you don't really know what you're doing, then you're going to have a lot of speculation, you know. People tend to speculate a lot more. Because some expert said something on some website, so, you know, price is probably going to move there. That's the kind of mentality you start getting, because now you're not thinking for yourself. You're just thinking because this guy here at Goldman Sachs, he's working at Goldman Sachs, so surely he's right. Surely this guy knows what he's talking about. You know, but why? What makes you different? You know, you can do that analysis yourself, because whoever that did that analysis is not knowing 100%. You know, and if they know 100%, of course they will not tell you. Of course they would not tell you, because obviously Goldman Sachs goes up against other hedge funds. Why on earth would they tell you something? You know, also think about that. Why on earth would a billionaire tell you something that he's invested in as well? You know, you always got to think about these things. Like, when was the last time Warren Buffett dropped a Twitter telling you he was getting into a stock which was at a very fair valued price that everybody could have gotten in with him and become rich? You know, there's a reason why we don't do these things. And there's a reason why they do those things as well. Maybe when they need exit liquidity, then they're going to tell you. But, you know, in trading, it's always good to think for yourself. I think like once you get that confidence to at least have some sort of foundation, you start thinking for yourself. It's a lot better, I think, you know. Because I used to follow too many people, and that used to create way too much analysis paralysis. And when you're just following, you're not really learning anything. Hey, Titus. Yeah, exactly. This. You can't really learn anything when you're just following. June CPI rose. Looks like Powell might be getting resigned next year, though. That's the word on the street. Powell might be retiring next year. I gotta miss Powell. It's been really fun with Powell. His time has come. But the problem is they're gonna put a puppet in his place. You know, when they switch Powell out, that's gonna be the issue now. Trump is gonna put somebody that he can control in power. And man, what would that mean for the economy? You know, think about it. If Trump has power to manipulate decisions on the Federal Reserve level, that's going to be crazy, because, you know, the presidency is separate from those organizations. They typically don't have power when it comes to sayings of rate cuts and that sort of thing. So man, if we got something as volatile as Trump, holy, I think we're going to make a lot of money here. I think Trump is going to make so many people money. He's going to make so many people money just because, you know, Powell doesn't do much, right? But Trump is going to do a lot. Trump is going to do a lot. Man, I remember when like Russia-Ukraine war started and there were so many like easy buy opportunities on gold. You know, like such opportunities like this create a lot of wealth for people who are in the space. Shotgun now. Let's see if it plays out. Not taking it. Oh yeah, we got a shotgun. Price has closed below support. Oh, but we've created a new support now. So you gotta wait for the next candle to close. Below 33.39. And then re-break the lows to keep pushing down. I don't know why it's struggling here. It's like just bouncing back and forth for a bit. Yeah, man. I think Trump is gonna do some crazy things soon. But you can see this is a dollar index. Dollar index currently coming down. Trump wants to cut the rates, so he wants to push this even further down. He wants to push this even further down. Did you mention this sell possibly about to happen? I was chatting to my wife. Yeah, I think like if we can break below 33.39, there should be a good chance for it to push down. Got some nice little SMA confluence there too. But obviously we're going against some SMAs as well, like on the higher time frames. It's just the 8 looks good for this minor push. But it's gonna tap into that 50. Well, I didn't say until now, so a nice consolidation on BTC breakout. Let's see, Bitcoin, BTC, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's got some accumulation breakout here. Distribution. Man, beautiful. Look at this. Candlesticks don't even create the top wick here. It just pushes with so much volume. And obviously we're kind of like at the highs. So there's still a lot of exuberance in Bitcoin. So a lot of people thinking like BTC buys. Some small little breakies here as well. Price moved downwards. Accumulated it here. Started breaking below. Little break and retest of that zone. And then to fill this area on the left hand side. And maybe like one right over here too. Little break. Small little retest there. Pushed upwards again. Then it did the same thing pretty much like right here. Little sideways movement. Break of the highs. Still distributing upwards. Yeah, I mean, people like, imagine people got in like earlier here. So it's like the early bird catches the worm. You always kind of look into, you know the thing I like to think about is, first of all, it's the timing. And if it's not the timing, let's say if I come in later, then you want to see maybe if it's having a retracement. Because I think with the timing, with the pre-London time, if I come in really early, even if price is moving like this, I'm still expecting like some pushes, right? Because the timing is still pretty fresh. But if the timing is not fresh, I would much rather have like a situation where it dips in like this. And then kind of like correct that move there on the left-hand side. Yeah, but you see same old London session vibes here on Goldie. Same old kind of like wicks, ranging, choppiness, moving sideways here. But I think the good thing is from next week, we should not have any more fundamentals to look out for the rest of the month at least. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Got from here. I guess the last week of this month is gonna be the NFP week. So that's gonna be quite interesting, chat, because now we're gonna have two NFPs in July. Because we had NFP in the first week. And we're going to have NFP in the last week, kind of July. That's kind of weird. Two non-farm payrolls in 1 month. Kind of, you know? Because that's like a Friday, the end of the week. That's wild. That's wild. Just like we had NFP, it was last month. We got NFP instead of Friday. We got it on a Thursday. All right, Goldie, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to do Goldie. A little breaky on Goldie as well. Small little break here. Small little accumulation break. So that stops were 10.2 pips. 10.2 pips. Maybe using this as a sort of liquidity grab. How it spiked below this support level. Like that. Spike below it, spike below it. Accumulation, break of the high, stop loss below here. Because there was nothing here and here. There was no structure here. The only structure that I'm seeing is that little bit of structure there for that small push. That's breaking above these highs as well. No. What time is it? 4:45. Let's see that hourly. Yeah, but I feel like this is gonna do exactly what we did yesterday, chat. We're just gonna range here until pre-New York into the news. I think it's going a second time for rest of the SLs. The move out of here is definitely, it's probably gonna come a lot later. It's still, I would say it's still a bit early now. Maybe it's gonna come, I think, from 6. Yeah, from 6. That's usually when I'm expecting volume to come back in. This is pre-New York right here. So you're gonna look at this and think to yourself like, okay, so this is how much space that you have for potentially a move before actual session volume comes in. Pre-NY session volume comes in. I think the closer we get to this, the better probability that the trades are gonna look. Because right now, how many more candles do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like maybe roughly like 12 candles 12 5-minute candles. So you're kind of like estimating in 12 5-minute candles what the market can actually do. Like, do you believe in 12 5-minute candles that you can get the structure that you need to get a potential move? It's not that much time. This for the market is literally no time at all. If you look at it in terms of this as time, a block of time, this for the market is nothing. You know, market can choose to just range for a bit longer here. Very simple. Very simple. But if we're looking at something like 8:30, when when the news is supposed to be coming out, yeah, we got plenty more time, at least for 1 or 2 setups there on the 5-minute to happen. Are you buying or selling gold? No, I'm doing nothing right now, man. Hopefully this 8 SMA pushes this down now. It's got quite, you know, the thing about the cells, it has to get through, yeah, as you mentioned, you know, we have multiple SMAs to the downside, or rather to the upside. See the hourly, the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 5-minute. There's a lot more pressure towards the upside. That's when the SMAs really come in handy. When you start to look at it and say, it's like it's showing you there's a lot more pressure to the upside. Even the 1-minute there is pushing up. So even if price started breaking below these lows, man, it has a lot of like, it's got a lot of work to do to get through those SMAs. Man, those SMAs, those are like pesky. They're so pesky, those SMAs. You know, some people think like, oh, it's lame to use SMAs, but man, if you have them on your chart, just try have them on your chart. Try have the 50 and the 8. Links in the description. You can download it easily, add to your favorites, and just watch how price behaves. Usually when you're having like good trades and you're having bad trades, you gotta see the difference. If you got the SMAs in your favorites, usually much better. It's a whole lot more better. Like I think this morning's trade, I got my SMAs here. You see, I got the 1-minute SMA there in my favor. Let me see on the 5-minute, you got 5-minute SMA in my favor as well. So this was like kind of like, you know, assisting in the move upwards. Right over here like this. So it's always good. Like if you want to be very cautious with your trades, you know, if you want to be very cautious, you can look into that and say, okay, you know what? Let me accept maybe missing a few W's that I can at least trade all my trades to be in line with just everything, you know? Because losing on an SMA push can be quite annoying. Coming back up to retest these highs. See on the 30-minute. 30-minute, we got... If this 30 closes, we should be having... I don't think we're going to have an SMA crossover. I think the 8 is just going to be ahead of the 50 still. It's going to look something like this. And it's kind of like supporting upwards. See like how we broke above the structure? This is the same idea to what I was looking in terms of buys also on the 5-minute. So I was thinking on the 5-minute as a shotgun play. So when price was breaking like this, I was thinking that this is like also kind of like a shotgun play. Because it's breaking above structure right here, creating new higher high to continue pushing up to fill this range on the left-hand side. So look at this. Clean traffic. There's a clean ranges. Does anybody have a struggle with identifying clean ranges? Then all you have to think of is no structure. It's as simple as this. Just like clean candlestick bodies. That's all a clean ranges. Or low traffic area. So you're expecting that, you know, if price came down easy, then it can correct that move easy as well. Right now, Goldie is trying to push up. We are trying to push. Had a 1-minute setup, but didn't take that. There's a 1-minute setup here. See, it retested the entries once. Once more, a little break and retest, and then continue to move up again. See, how far did I actually push initially? About like 10 pips, and then it retested, and then it pushed up another 18, 20 pips. Pretty nice. So distributing, basically, you can always track these moves, you know? These are not random moves. If you're on the higher time frame, it looks random, but you can always track it and see like where potentially people could have gotten in. And if it was like obvious enough to be able to get stuck in. And that's when the 1 minute really comes in handy. You won't see it too much here. Here it kind of just looks like a fakie. It looks like a 5 minute candle closed below, create a new lower low, and you got like a support being formed. So for some people, that's actually enough. Some people would trade fake outs. They actually look for patterns like this. Like candlestick closing back and then expecting a fake out. But you can increase the hit rate if you look at investigate the lower time frames. You're going to see a lot more structure. And certain things that happen with your winning trades, they usually have something in common. Yeah, it's true. Like your winning trades always have something in common. Exactly that. Your winning trades always have something in common. Your losing trades always have something in common most of the time. That trade I took FEG plus OB, 50 SMA, and had a support below. It's quite a nice confluence for this. Also, the other SMAs on the HTL, on the 15 and the higher time frames were lining up quite nicely too. Now the question is, when are we getting the bottom wick? If we're even going to get the bottom wick there on the daily. I still think this range can be held until like 8:30. I would not be really expecting price to move right now. Maybe if it starts moving, it moves like closer to pre-New York time. Let's see. Slowly recovering from a bad entry I took earlier, plus $200 on this entry. Slowly but surely. Yeah, I'm flirting with the highs here. These are the Asia highs. Just tapping into. Little fakey. Break below support. Little fakey. 1 minute. Break above. It's actually a good trade. It's actually a very clean trade. So it's like the trades which move in your direction almost immediately, those are your good trades. And the ones which start to go against you, for some reason, man, like those trades have such a... Usually the variable changes so quickly. Let's say if it starts moving in your direction first, but then it starts to go against you quickly, the variables shift so quickly that now that has a high probability of being a losing trade. Because remember, every moment in the market's unique. It's unique from before you execute, from the moments you execute, and those initial minutes. Those initial minutes. For me on the lower time frame, it's it can be the difference between a winning or a losing trade. It really can be. So you want to be having a lot of patience, you know, that you're taking the really nice trades. Because sometimes you can better avoid a lot of these fake outs if you're just a bit more patient. But the way I've managed to do this most of the time is just by being consistently on the charts. At specific times, I'm expecting volume. Kind of help you kind of remove the probability of getting stuck in ranging market conditions. Because throughout our day, there's more times that are prone to ranging and more times that are prone to actually having volume come in. And those times also do shift. But on average, they should be having like some sort of consistency. Like right now, for example, the shift I can give is the London Opens. The London Opens have not been very voluminous and very directional of late. However, given the right amount of time, you'll come to see that it does have the most volume in it. Same as a New York session open. London close. Heck, if you trade the Asia, I think like, it was like 3 hours after market opens, usually. Crypto 30-minute breakout targeting a wick fill. Man, look at this beautiful candle right here. Look at that. It's just looking to fill this. So you target a wick fill on the lower time frame. This is on the 30-minute. I think this is pretty nice because what I'm expecting, what I think you did was like also candle on the 5 created lows, and then reflipped upwards. Started reflipping. You executed maybe here based on LTF, and then price moved up, gave a small little wick fill. Cabello Dale, 30-minute breakout. Yeah, I've seen people do this before. 30-minute breakout. Oh, I think, okay, I get it now. I get it now. So this was the 30 breakout, but your stop was too big. So you decided to wait for this candle to create the lows, reflip to get in. Yeah, I get that now. Yeah, I used to do this as well. The only problem with doing this is usually I hate putting stops on a candle. If it's just based off of this thinking, I hate putting stops on a candle which is still open, because you're still open. The problem with that is, you know, the candlestick can come down. It can still come down again and then still close bullish. You know, but in hindsight, it'll look like it had already created the bottom wick there. But when you're doing it real time, it could have done that multiple times. That's the only thing I don't like about doing this on open candlesticks, using this type of entry model. But, you know, at the same time, it works pretty good, especially if markets are trending and there's a lot of volume in that direction. I think it works pretty nice on there. W trade, W trade. Thanks for the 100 likes, guys. Appreciate it. It was like that. We noticed shotgun play plus 1 minute console. They normally hear W and not much drawdown. Yeah, nice shotgun play, 1 minute consolidation. Beautiful. That was actually really good. See, retesting the Asia highs, just pushing them up. Alright, nice shout out, Lua. I think this is going second time for the rest of the SLs. Nice shout, nice shout. That's what I did. It came all the way back up here from this distribution down here. But the 15 minute looks quite parabolic though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish candles in a row there. Price is up 0.56%. I think yesterday we also peaked at 0.60%. This is around 0.60%. Yeah, I think between 0.60 0.70%, and then price start rolling over. Because we're still getting a lot of bearish momentum here. Because as we're breaking these Asia highs, I'm pretty sure people will be looking to fade that. Potentially fade to continue getting the sells. These sellers, man. Once the sellers come in, like price has just been dumping here. It's a very cautious area. This area where gold is in right now it's very prone to potential fake out. As we're sitting by resistance. It potentially fakes out back into the gulag. You know, it's kind of similar as what we saw yesterday too. Like price it kept trying to break the highs a few times, but it couldn't really like respect that level. You know, for price to move up, since we're breaking above a resistance over here, we need to respect this resistance and maybe have a structure being formed here that it can move up like this. We need to respect that resistance. And we just got the new hourly open there as well. Previous hourly is a massive engulfing hourly. Engulfing candlestick here. I'm usually suspicious about it when not typically really expecting much of a move. When we get such an imbalance, you create some kind of imbalance sometimes. Like if you look at the 15, look at how parabolic the 15 is. Create some sort of imbalance here. Come down, correct the move. Back into the range. Gotta sit on your hands. Man, you know, it's crazy. We still have 2 more weeks. I wonder if... I've never hit 60 trades in a month. That's actually wild. I'm already at 31 trades. 60 trades in a month. That actually be a record. See if we can break some records this month. But the annoying thing is my percentage gains. That's all the time. Whenever I get to like this 22% mark, this is something I've noticed with my trading is even when I overtrade and I get to this 22% mark, for some reason it's like an invisible force field. There's always like some kind of invisible force field there that requires a bit more to get through it. So in March, for example, I did 41 trades. It was like 34%, but I remember at this 20% mark, I was hovering for some time before like properly breaking through it. But we're making some pretty nice headwind here, so I think we could probably get to like 50. Maybe like 50 trades at this rate, 50, 60. We'll see. Don't set targets as well. Usually when you set targets, it's you think too much about the target and you force yourself to get that. You know, when you force yourself to get that target, that's when problems usually start coming in. So just let the trades come to you. You know, always let the market come to you. If it doesn't, you know, it is what it is. All you're there to do is execute. So what your spreadsheet is going to look like is if there's moves, you're executing, you're taking trades. If there's no moves, no trades. All right, so it looks like we respected 33.41 here. Sorry to re-break the highs. This is much more of a higher time frame play. I would say maybe from 30 minute and above. See, actually the range from the 15. Yeah, 15 is pretty decent too. This could be like 15 and above. But it's really forcing issues here. It's not easy, especially whenever a candle creates like a wick like this and you're getting a wick fill. Man, it's not easy. It's not This is not the This is not the cleanest type of structure that when you're expecting price to keep moving. Because you can see, especially a wick fill like this, you got 1, 2, 3 50-minute candlesticks. It's it might be like a low volume type of thing, you know, as opposed to if you had a candle, just do something like this and then just re-break the highs to keep moving up. So it's in momentum. But this is like, it's trying to do a lot to break above. So it's still a very cautious area here by the Asia highs. So very, very cautious here. Hey, what's up, Ruben? Hey, Vic, didn't see the notification. Hope you're well. Just if you aren't getting notification, just subscribe, resubscribe, and turn off and on the post notifications again. I think that should fix it. Just unsubscribe, resubscribe, turn it on and off again. Because I think I'm figuring out, like, ever since I deleted my videos, what the algorithm now thinks, Ruben, is maybe, you know, you found my channel with that specific video, right? The specific video you might have watched. And now since it's no longer there, the algorithm doesn't have that data anymore. So it doesn't know to send you information sometimes. So you're not going to see my channel pop up as much. I think that's what it does. Because it got you. Basically, the algorithm got you. It got you as a subscriber based off that one video. It's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up that people like, I rely on people with the algorithm to watch this stream. Well, obviously we got the OGs in here. I remember all the OGs in here. Once the algo picks the channel back up again, I remember all the OGs in here who've been in the trenches with me. I remember all the OGs. Most of the people you see on streams, it's just like algo, you know? Like if you see streams, sometimes like a lot of views, sometimes it's like algo helping. But if you remove the algo, you get like maybe half of that. That people who actually commit to trading, most people just watch it based off convenience. And that's what our society is basically. It's we do things based more off of convenience. You know, like that's the direction that we do things. It's like if it comes on your table easy, then you're going to do it. That's why, you know, we don't buy DVDs anymore. We don't go to the store to buy movies anymore or music anymore. Just get onto Spotify, or you can get access to these things quite easily now. It's more convenient. We love convenience. Man, life is so convenient nowadays that you don't even have to leave your house anymore. Then back in the, let's say the 2000s, you know, the 2000s, if you wanted a movie, you had to go out of your house, go socialize with people. And man, even sometimes you couldn't watch the movie because it was not in stock. Or if you want to get an album, you're going to listen to music, you're going to appreciate the music more because you spend your hard money. See, this is the thing. This is why I don't like free. Free is garbage sometimes. Because you know, when people used to buy music back in the days, those of you who are maybe in your 20s right now plus, like probably relate to it more, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, you'd listen to that music. You'd enjoy the artist. Even you'd force yourself to like enjoy the music because you paid for it. So you're going to actually force yourself to understand what the artist did there. But nowadays, you hear an album, you got to see if you like it or not. You got to throw it away quickly because you got it for free. And you can get the next thing just like that. Correct? You get the next thing just like that. That's why, like, for me, when I bought my first course, I knew I could get it for free. But at the same time, I knew free was garbage. So I was like, this guy's a pretty popular guy. I can download this for free. But I ended up buying it because if you don't buy it, you're not gonna have any attachment to it. You know, you're just gonna be like, oh, I've downloaded it. Okay, wow, great. That's it. I've watched through it like Game of Thrones. You've gone through the course like Game of Thrones. Like you're watching TV series, and then you go to the next one, then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But man, when I paid for that, my first ever course, that was the most money I ever spent on something like that I wanted to learn a value online. Bro, I was reading that thing like the Bible every single day, making notes, tuning in, making sure like no cent went unspent. Yeah, that's why free is garbage. You get free trading accounts, free challenges. You're probably just going to lose that because you didn't actually put any work to getting it. Right? So it's like you're gambling with it. It's the same thing as trading a demo account. You put like demo money in your account, you got $1,000 in there, man, you're gonna blow through that $1,000 like it's nothing. You know, you're gonna give people a lottery ticket. Someone wins $1 million tomorrow. He's gonna blow through it like it's nothing because he has no character development. You know, he's not worked towards actually earning that money, and that's why you see most people who win the lottery, they end up going broke because they've never had the character development they need to actually sustain that. So, you know, like I would always say, like, invest, put some skin in the game, whatever it is. If you're trading an account, even if it's like a $100 account, $200 account, this is not investment advice. Just a young disclaimer, but you are going to be more willing to actually learn from your positions and your trades. And you can see that human psychology, it digs into literally everything that we do in life. So when you start thinking about it in that direction, you're going to see you truly are building your character. Like trading is molding you outside of these things that maybe you didn't even realize I used to do subconsciously in just your day-to-day life. You know, that's why I was giving the example of music, like how music was so much harder to get back in the days, and you'd enjoy it more than you would nowadays for free. It's literally like a mirror. If you're a very impulsive person in life, you know, that's going to reflect on your trading as well. If you're very cautious about your money, that's also going to reflect on your trading. You're going to take, for me, I'm very, very cautious. So even when I was learning, 3, maybe 5 trades maximum. I don't think I ever went past 5 trades. Some people super confident, you know, they can take like 10 trades a day. And my risk, man, at some point, I couldn't even risk more than 0.5%. Some people, they risk 5% like it's nobody's business. You know, they risk 10%, 30%. But it's going to reflect. Like trading is really going to bring out your nature. So I would say pay attention to that. Pay attention. It's more that you're not just learning how to trade and make money in the markets, that you're trying to see what it is with your psychology that you could improve. Because we all have different like challenges, you know, different fears and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. I'd even look at the album case and read the booklet inside. I remember that, true. You'd read, like, you'd really, 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 really pay attention to all the details. Like, life was so much slower, but it was more thoughtful. You know, it's good to be very detailed about things. Man, you know, like I bought some gym equipment the other day, and I also realized like how impatient that just regular society, social media makes me, because the way I was trying to build that thing, I was trying to go through it like I was doing a speed run on a video game. You know, I just wanted to get it done quickly. But man, every time I do it, you know, because I'm building my own gyms, so like every time I get new equipment, bro, I would speed run through it and then have to redo it. Because maybe I put the nut in the wrong place, or I forgot to put a nut somewhere. Then I would have to go back again, put in double the effort, and then redo it to get it done, you know? That's what people do. Man, that's a trend I've seen with people's psychology. Like, you have some people who've been trading for years, maybe 2 years, because they're speed running through everything. You know, they're not taking the time to slow down and say, okay, like, what's going on here? You know, I don't have time. I don't have time to waste. So every time you see like some kind of bleeding, you must stop the bleeding. You know, some people, they just speed run through the bleeding process as well. So you're going to see some people have been trading like 2 years, 3 years, and they're just doing the same shit. You know, and it's very difficult to treat. It's very difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. Basically, that's what the saying is. So you want to move correct. You don't want to move fast. Because like even for me right now, trading this system, it's very difficult for you to teach me how to trade. Like if I take, let's say 3 losses on stream, and then somebody wants to start teaching me how to trade, it can be very difficult for you to teach me how to trade. But you know, this is coming from a place at least that I know that I have some kind of consistency. So I tell you, don't teach me how to trade. Correct? But like some other people, man, they cannot even have this data, still be losing, and they still don't want to learn. You know, I think that's when it gets very counterproductive. And now look at this, we got a fakie out here. Yeah, that's when the arrogance starts to kick in. You know, like sometimes you can get arrogant. and you don't want to learn anything, yeah, I think that's quite dangerous there, because it slows you down. It slows you down. I have it with my brother all the time. You know, I have an older brother. My older brother always tries to teach me things, and I'm usually like arrogant. You know, I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to listen to this. You know, you're my older brother. You know, don't tell me what to do. In the moment, it's like that. But then later on, because of what I've learned from trading, I always reflect on that and say, you know, like, he's right. He's right about this. He's right about that. This is just my ego coming back in, you know, my ego, my need to be right. My need to be right is what's coming back in, and that's what's holding me down. So you got to pay attention to these things, man. Like, trust me. It happens every single day. Every single day gives you opportunities to get better. And they say usually you can make maybe like 3 good decisions in a day. You know? So pay attention to when you break it down like that. I think you can have a lot more successful days. You know, when you break it down to getting those core elements out of your day. Kind of difficult to explain. But every day you're going to get an opportunity. God's going to give you an opportunity in this sector of your life to get better, in this next sector, in this next sector, in this next sector. So your job is not to question it, it's just to be like aware of it. You know, just be aware of it. Because I feel like a lot of time people live life on autopilot. That quality of being able to check yourself is extremely valuable. Yes, man. Like self-reflection, extremely valuable. Like it's true. People live life on autopilot, man. You'll be surprised. Like they don't even question it, bruh. It's literally like they're in a matrix. But when you're self-reflecting, like consistently like self-reflecting of even the smallest things that you do, there's always like some kind of hidden lesson in there. And you know, and that's also the journey that's going to reflect in your trading. I have that so much. We just need to learn when to stop, because that ego is also important. So you believe you can do it. Yes, exactly. Like the ego, you got to learn how to like use it properly. You know, Mike Tyson talks about that a lot as well. Like without the ego, we wouldn't have Iron Mike. You know, Mike Tyson wouldn't be who he is. But at the same time, it can be detrimental. I mean, look at Mayweather. Mayweather has the same ego that Mike Tyson had. And Mayweather is arguably even the better boxer. You know, he's arguably the better boxer on paper than Mike Tyson was. But look at what the ego has done to Mayweather. It is destroying him in terms of, you know, these investments that he's making. He's losing a lot of money right now. Apparently he filed for bankruptcy, and we're talking about one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer in all of history. It's because he couldn't let go of the ego, man. The ego got him here, but the ego is not going to get him to that next level. At some point, man, you got to cut the ego. The ego will get you where you need to be, but it's not sustainable. So yeah, man, like Mayweather is the typical boxer or athlete who goes broke, you know, after a successful career, and then they lose all their money because of the ego. Just like in trading, I can have access. This could be equivalent to like a successful career, let's say, and then the ego comes in. Loss. And you're not going to tell somebody with an ego. They wouldn't listen. It's literally death. It's literally death. If you're fighting another human being, and let's say it's like for sport, right? Like UFC, and you lose round 1, you lose round 2, and your ego is just trying to say, oh no, I'm the best, like this is what I should be doing. You're going to end up losing round 3, round 4, and you're going to get knocked out. But if you're able to adapt in the middle of the fight and notice that, oh, there's something that this guy has changed, that this is not what I was studying that he was doing, he's changed his strategy up a little bit, man, you make that adaptation, or you notice like, oh, this guy is limping, you know, there's something there with his leg that you can take advantage of. Maybe instead of what you had initially planned to do, you're going to do something else. It allows you to be more fluid, right? It's just the same way as the market. If you're fighting the market and you've planned this fight, but you see that it's much stronger in the areas that you were thinking of executing, maybe there's something you could adjust so you can attack its weaknesses, correct? That's basically what adapting is. It doesn't mean you have to change your whole play. It just means you have to change something so small in your play, but that small change makes a whole difference. because you already got the foundation. What you're changing is like literally a small aspect. So you don't have to relearn how to fight the fight, right? If Mayweather had asked you to trade some of his capital, would you? 100%. No strings attached. I'll take his money. As long as you know, the problem with like trading people's money is they're attached to their money and they're gonna ask you like about certain things, and you know that makes trading difficult. But if it's like no strings attached, then I think for trader psychology it's better that way. Because you know, you need to deal with your emotions. It's one thing dealing with your emotions and then dealing with somebody else's emotions. As I say kind of like balancing. It's a balancing act between what you would be free to do and what the other person might think. That's why for me, sometimes I feel like taking the fourth, even when I send signals, like I want to take the fourth trade. But at the same time, I also got to think of maybe if somebody is following these, that would be like an overtrade for them. So it's like, okay, you know what? Let me just stop here too. Let me stop here too so I can manage this over here. Because yeah, now you got to think of like, okay, this guy's psychology is here. So you don't want to come off wrong. Because for me, it's not overtrading. I would do it. But for somebody else, it might look like overtrading. But in the end, you know, it's a good thing. In trading, I think in the end, if you can take less trades, it's always a positive thing. It's never a bad thing to take less trades. So it's also kind of good. Keeps me on track, because the fourth trade could also be a losing trade, correct? Fourth trade could also be a losing trade. But let's see, how big is the stop right here? Like we got about like 40 pips. That range here. Range is quite small though. The stops are really big for this range. I would not use this area. It's a really big stop. But it did get the London Open fake out. So market's acting exactly like we thought it would here today. It's ranging. We got the pre-London in the next 35 minutes doing the same exact thing that it did yesterday. So you know, this is my fight. This is my fight. This is what I've been noticing. London's been ranging, crappy price action. I've seen where the weakness is. So I'm not going to fight the market like I usually fight it, because I know I might have a chance of losing that trade. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to hit it when it's most likely that I can get a solid clean move. That's when I'm going to hit it. Today you'll be better in BTC. Just hit the buy on consolidation. So far, I think we got what? Silver all-time highs. Bitcoin's at all-time highs. What else is moving here? See what the NAS 100 is doing. NAS 100, not really all-time highs. DXY is going down. See what US 30 is doing. Oh, US 30 is kind of at the all-time highs. So what Tesla is doing? Where's Tesla trading at? Tesla is at $310. Yeah, this thing is a massive range. It's a very big range here on Tesla. But I feel like once we properly start breaking out of it, we should be heading towards like 1,000. But we need to break above 500. These are like the very early moments for Tesla. Like Tesla's stock is still quite early here, but it's, you know, it's quite expensive though. $311 for one. Early stages on Tesla. Tesla could be a black swan event. I think Elon is just losing the plot a bit. Or what it looks like. It looks like he's losing the plot a bit. So what Meta is doing? Meta is doing pretty nice. $711. All-time highs. Let's go on DAX. DAX all-time highs. Oil is supposed to be recovering. I saw that oil should be moving up, or that's what people are anticipating, that oil prices should be increasing, but it doesn't seem the case here on the chart. We actually came down because look at this big spike up we have here. This had to do with the tensions in the Middle East, right? And then boom, correction back down towards like $65 a barrel. So also on news, man, I've been reading, like sometimes on news I'm seeing that oil prices should be going up, but it's not even my brother was telling me the other day that that oil prices should be going up, but it doesn't seem to be reflecting here on the chart yet. Still trading at $65. Not bad. They're actually quite bearish, it looks. Nice little inverted play here though on oil. Left shoulder ahead, right shoulder, push upwards, correction. Do, 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 do. Does my brother trade? No, he's in real estate. So if I need advice for real estate, then I go to him. If he needs advice for trading, then he would rather teach me something, because that's what older brothers do. Yeah, but I like to teach people, like even my friends want to trade, I love to teach them. Problem is the support area here. Don't like the look of that support. It makes the range a lot smaller. Candlestick's about to close. Open shorts on GCQ. The GCQ. Open shorts on G. Oh yeah, this chart is 10 minutes behind. 30 by 10 minutes. So it's the same thing as gold, right? So it does look like it wants to move down. I'm not gonna lie. Like the structure does look like it looks bearish. Look at this little spike here. Then you got the head and shoulders here, a little spike above here with that SMA confluence. I think this was just removing some potential sellers. And it does look like candle's about to close here. It's going to close below support as well. It's about to close below 33.39. It does look like it wants to move down. So if you got shorts on futures there, then you're going to see like if price can at least break below support by 33.38, at least it's not moving down a bit more. Smoking gun. This looks like a little fakey here on the 5 minute. It's a 1 minute grab. It's a 1 minute grab here. Taking out these lows. It's whiplashing a bit. This should keep moving down. This should not be coming back up here. With just the way price is progressing, it would not make sense for this to come back up here, because that's going to be a double whip. Going to be whipping up here, then it's going to be whipping up here. At that point, you know, there's nothing you can do. You take a buy, you're screwed. You take a sell, you're screwed. So this 5 minutes should actually be creating a top wick, reflipping and breaking these lows to at least keep pushing down bearish. It should not move up. Managed to secure on the buys before the drop. Nice. Yeah, the buys here are they're still very sketchy, you know. Still very, very sketchy area. Just based off what we've been seeing gold do of late. And that's a problem with gold, you know. Like if I draw these things out, you can see like price came down here. Look at this. Broke below support. It actually, like, let's see. From here, look. There was a few ones that happened here, like really small grabs and whiplash. But these are the main ones, easier to see. Price shot above it. Came back down. Screwed the buyers. Broke below support. Came back up. Screwed the sellers. Then screw the buyers back up over here as well. And screw the buyers back up over here as well. Who thought price could correct the range on the HDF on the left hand side. Came back down. maybe even a potential seller with this wick. Probably like triggered some buyers and maybe got some stop losses from people who took a sell down here. So it took a sell, candlestick reflip, close bullish. Next candle popped back up here and then started push down. Yeah, so it's quite tricky. I'm seeing that 1 minute liquidity grab that happened here as well. And now I don't know why it's pulling back up again. This thing should actually move down. But we can see that's just the nature of what Goldie's been doing here. It's been aggressive, chat. I'm not going to lie to you. July so far is a good month. But the market has been somewhat like there's a very toxic relationship right now. I think gold is being a bit toxic. You know, when your partner starts becoming a bit toxic, I think that's what gold is doing here now. Gotta be toxic. So you just gotta wait. Just gotta wait. That's all you gotta do. Don't give in to it. It's like a child. You know, the market is like a child sometimes. You just gotta see if it's gonna wear itself out eventually. You know, it's throwing all these tantrums right here. Eventually it weighs itself out, and that's when you want to attack. Trying to get the kiss of death. Yeah, exactly. You got kiss of death here. Let's see how the 15 looks. 15 minute looks good as well. Just needs to get through those 30 levels. It should flip. That should be a big top wick. Candlestick should reflip, break the lows, and dump. So we're just reading price in the moment, right? So in the moment, this is what makes the most sense. Strategy wise, maybe like stop loss above here for this range. Let me see if that's actually valid. Take a sell here, stop above here. Yeah, it could be valid. Could be valid. Basically like a shotgun play. But this candlestick needs to reflip though. It needs to reflip and break the lows. Price is in a weird zone right now. And also if we're moving sideways, then if we just retested the highs, you know, we retest the highs of the range, we should be retesting now the lows. Should be coming back down to retest the lows. Got some support, resistance, bounce off the highs, come to the lows. Why use an EMA if you have god level knowledge of charts? They're just nice confluence, you know, like look at the way it's also behaving right here. That 50, how it can really bring in that pressure, you know, it just shows you when there's about to be some kind of pressure in the market. See now we're trading underneath that 50. So if it could just respect man and starts breaking below here, then you'd really be expecting a strong push. As the candlestick is above, starts to break below that support. You're really expecting a strong push. Look at the way it is right here. Because it needs to get through this. This is like a weight. Nice little break and retest as well. From this zone. Little break retest. Goldie's definitely cooking something up. Get a 1 minute accumulation in there as well. That would be nice. It's definitely cooking something up. Especially that 50 SMA on the 5. That looks pretty good. That rejection on the 15. Top wick. Beautiful top wick. Like if you think about it, why would price create such a healthy top wick? Think about it like price action. Why create such a healthy top wick? Trade below SMAs. Break the lows and still have clean range and not move down. You know, why would you not do this? Why would you not move down if you break this low? Dude. Oh, is that 15-30 minute touch of death also? Oh, and the 1 hour faked out the buyers from the shotgun. The only reason it would not break those lows to move down is because gold is being difficult. Now people want to see this thing dump. You can see it with the wicks here. Really way the wicks are forming on the 1 minute as well. Massive pull downs, massive pull downs. Yeah, selling pressure right here. That's the way the wicks are behaving. And don't you ever say I did. Dun, 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 dun. This week has been buys in the morning and sells in NY. Yes. You got about 20 minutes to pre NY. You see what I mean? Like gold is being so difficult. Gold's been so difficult. I've been reading this like so far. This has been during this time. It's been so difficult. It doesn't want to have moves. It doesn't want to have straight moves. It's always breaking highs and lows and then pulling up and down. So I've seen this. I've seen this. I've noticed this. So accumulating here, quite a nice little accumulation. See, it didn't even want to re-break their lows on the 15. Oh man, such a beautiful top wick there. Look at that beautiful rejection here. But it's getting people out. I think this is trying to get like some sellers for some reason somewhere. Not sure exactly where. But it's on like it's on shark mode. Nightbot is third in line for your crown? No way, guys. Yo, that's wild. Nightbot actually made it to the top of the leaderboard. Top 3. Holy. Holy Nightbot, let's go. Damn, that's sick. I've never seen Nightbot up there. Yeah, the real Eddie at 4th. Nightball making moves. Looking around 49 or 44 for a sell. Yeah, I think a sell would be good down to like 37. 37 here. You're looking to sell as price goes up. You want to sell when price comes to all the way up over here at 49. Godspeed. Gold doesn't want peace, it wants problems always. You know, like the thing about it is like it has these targets, right? It has these targets. Like you see it's got targeted by 36 and then the price came down towards 36 and then it started moving up again. But exactly, it wants problems. So you see price accumulator here, it broke, but then said, no, I must give drawdown, I must give drawdown, drawdown. Even if it comes really close to that level, you'd rather come all the way back up again so it can tap that level down over there. And for some people, maybe that just seems as low traffic noise. That's how they would categorize this as. Like, yeah, obviously low time frame, low traffic noise, high time frame candlesticks need to operate in a certain way. But there's a certain way that you can execute on trades consistently that on a higher time frame you couldn't catch like such a move. Like, it wouldn't make sense to you on a higher time frame. It would make more sense on a lower time frame. And then when you're looking from a lower time frame perspective, you can see how difficult that it makes it for any sort of entries that could have been happening on the lower time frame, as you might have not been able to catch on a higher time frame. That's why I like to look at it as, not as higher time frame just moving up and down, but it's just the market doing this specifically to make it difficult for anybody, you know. Like, really, this thing was about to flip. This thing looks so bearish with that rejection and how it was pulling down, and it got that little dynamic support. It looks so bearish for a beautiful flip, but it kind of like pumped itself. Notice the way it pumped itself, said, nope, we're not going down. Pumped itself like 12 pips. Look at the massive 1 minute candle here. So said like, no, we're not going down. I said, we're not going down now. But it looks like you can see the selling pressure. Look at the sellers. You can see the way price is behaving here. People want this thing to dump, but the market is saying, no, I don't want to go down there. Remember, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you want, right? The market is going to do what the market does. And sometimes what we see is, in terms of market psychology and wicks, what we see is maybe it succumbs to the pressure. It says, okay, damn, this is too much. It comes down, but the candle never closes here. It does maybe something like this. So it gives the push, but where it closes all the way back up. Like that. So I say what you're learning on this channel is reading candlesticks. You're not learning FEGs. Because obviously this kind of things I don't think they talk about when you're talking like FEGs and that sort of thing. For someone explaining FEGs to you, they'll maybe be explaining there was a FEG here, and then candlestick came into it, and then it rejected off of it. So it's kind of like we're looking from a different perspective. I'm looking from candlestick behavior like this. They're looking more in terms of where I can give you an entry. So you're on a strategy with an entry. This is where it is. Don't mind everything else that's happening here. Just know there's a FEG here, and you can take a buy here. And, you know, maybe you can make some more reasons for it, but you're not also paying attention too much to what's... I think if you're also learning the invert to like price action of why the moves are coming in to maybe your FEGs, I think that also is a good skill that can open doors. That was a breakout. Now FEG was based on price action. Let's see. Little breaky here. You got me? Nice. Gold is serving people trading 1 second charts for now. The only clean move I see that could have possibly happened was right here. But since that distribution down, you have consolidation here, you got consolidation here. So imagine like what it takes to catch just this little bit, this little piece of the cake right here, that price can come down. We have a bit of accumulation, but you know what? Before it moved down, this was the fakie I was talking about. So you notice the support here? Notice how price broke below that support? It came up again to take out the sellers. So remove the sellers here so it can have the move. You know, man, the market, trading is not easy, chat. Trading is not easy. Especially when the market is like this, it is not easy. Sometimes it's easy, man. Sometimes it feels like it's too good to be true, you know? Sometimes you get these tricks and you think it's too good to be true. Like, how is this possible? But then always be cynical. Man, like, this is crazy. This was barely losses over here. 21 trades. Look like only 2 losses in 21 trades. Man, sometimes the market can be so giving. But where it takes it back is when it starts becoming difficult again. That's when people start over trading and that sort of thing. Revenge trading, that's when they give it back. They give back the easy times then during. Why is there no wicks on MT5? I see traders chart on the 5-minute green candles. Oh, the IC markets chart, it looks like completely different. It's completely different. So if you got an XAUSD here and you got an IC markets, it's usually looking a lot different. See, the structure here looks, it's not even the same structure that's on my broker. My broker IC markets has different candlesticks. So that's why I use FXCM. It's more in line with what I'm seeing on my broker as well. He got $20 on the Nightbot. Nightbot standing on business. Damn, Goldie. Those cells would have actually looked quite nice. I couldn't re-break the lows. That's why it's really important to wait for wicks to break the lows. See, we came like, how many pips are this, guys? How many pips are this? Look at this. This was like about 0.2 pips, man. Imagine a whole loss just because of 0.2 pips. Just because of 0.2 pips. You can't wait for a wick to break. You really need to break those areas. It doesn't matter how fast price looks like it's coming down. Like, if it doesn't break, it doesn't break. It could come down like this and stop right here. Like, exactly like that. And not break it. Up and down, today's BTC is good. WWW. Making it look too easy here, Ricardo. Architect, why are you fighting Nightbot? This ain't a shouting match. Yeah, guys. So, man, what is Goldie gonna do? We just create a new support here. This is a extension of the Asia highs. Got Asia highs over here, and you got support down here. So, what are you gonna do? Nothing. What are you gonna do? But this is the time that it actually should be cleaning up now. Got pre-NY here in the next 10 minutes. 10 minutes pre-NY, and then we should get a different map. So far I played... This will be my second map of the day. You know, I had my pre-London map. It was kind of alright. It was alright. Just got the tail end of the buys. And then the London map. Not the greatest map. This is like that map in Call of Duty that always keeps popping up. You know that one map that you hate playing online? And it's just always, out of like every 3 great games, you're gonna play it at least once. It's that one map that always comes and you're like, oh man. Now you gotta leave this game. But if you leave the game, it kind of like... you don't want to find a new game. Because it puts you in a timeout. Because you're leaving games too much. There's like this map, you know, this London map. But now we're moving on to the next map. The pre-New York map. That should be a good one. It's literally like the same thing. Like in video games, the patterns are quite similar. Like you get the good maps, you get high kill streaks. You get the shitty map that you don't like, you maybe get low kill streaks. And then you get the best map again, you get good kill streaks. You get good kill streaks. Then you get those double XP weekends. Double XP weekends on the good maps. Oh man, those are the times you slaughter. Those are the times that you really start to get your gains. Alright, double XP on good maps. This is like a double XP weekend. When you get streaks like this is double XP weekends. Double XP weekends. It comes every now and then as well, right? Maybe you don't always get those opportunities. You get more of a lot more usual gameplay. This is like usual gameplay. And then every now and then, you're gonna get like double XP. Maybe double XP days. Maybe 1 week they have an offer on buy one, get one free. So you get 1W, get one free. 1W, get one free. 1W. Yeah, this is hilarious, man. Like, trading in life is just so similar. It's insane. Right now, it's, yeah, now I'm just gonna wait. Now I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and eat something and then wait for price to move again. Hopefully I want to see price move from this area. I maybe want to see price break below that support. And then maybe we should be heading down towards this next zone. But remember, we have a core PPI coming out later on. So watch out for this. Markets are possibly ranging for this. It's quite important data coming out 30 minutes into the New York session. We're getting some nice data over there coming out. This is 8:30. So there's all this time left before the news comes out. You know, so that's why we're ranging so much like this. So be cautious. Be cautious here at the Asia highs as well. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Adios.